Hey, welcome back. We're continuing 7.3 where we're solving the trig equations. We're looking at two examples. One where we're doing calculator work because we don't have that value on our unit circle, and another one where we're applying concepts from Algebra 2 to solve a quadratic type equation. All right, so let's just get into this. Remember, again, if we ever get stuck, we're going to work in the order of operations in reverse if we're solving, right? So we're doing addition and subtraction first. So this stuff should be pretty easy to us by now, because it's just algebra concepts. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Then we're going to take care of our multiplication. And then we're going to undo our tangent with our tangent inverse. Right now, the problem is that there is no negative 2/3 for our tangent inverse on our unit circle. So we could do the trick where we divide by 2, but still 2 divided by 2 is 1. There's never a place where x is going to be, or y is going to be 1, and our x is just going to be 3 over 2. So this is not one of the things we can get off our unit circle. So we're just going to do our tangent inverse negative 2 over 3 from our calculator. So just to review again, one, make sure we're working in in radians, not degrees. And we're going to hit the inverse button to get the tangent inverse. And it's going to show up as arctan because those are the same thing. And then we're going to do negative 2 over 3. Negative 2 over 3. We're going to hit our equal sign. And we end up with negative 0.5. Let's round to the nearest hundredth. So 0.59. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Just showing you what to do if we have something not from the unit circle, which is a different case from what we were doing the last time. The steps for solving are exactly the same though, so nothing really new until the very end, and then it's just calculator work. Okay, so this one's a little bit harder. It's a little bit of a doozy, but for right now. So the thing that's making this kind of difficult is that we have this sine squared and then we have this sine. So let's rewrite this. Let's say for now that we're going to plug in, I don't know what variable we want to use. Let's use the variable u. I'm just using u because later on in calculus we're going to be using u's to substitute stuff. But anyways, so let's say u is going to be the same thing as sine. So we're going to replace all these signs with u. So we're going to have 2u squared, right? That's from this first part. Minus 3u, that's the second part, plus 1 equals 0. Okay, so what we're going to want to do in this case is we're going to try to factor here because this is a quadratic. All right, so we're looking at what multiplies to get 2, but adds to get negative 3. So some of you guys use this box method, right, from Algebra 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2u squared, put it in the top left. We're going to take this plus 1, put it in the bottom right. And we're looking for what multiplies those two numbers to get negative 3u. Well, that's pretty easy, right? Because there's only two things that multiply to get 2, and that's 1 and 2. So 1u and 2u. And the only way we're going to get them to add up to be negative is if they're both negative, right? And then we go through this whole process of factoring. So we're going to take the greatest common factor from each row and column. So in this row, the only common factor is u. In this column, the only common factor is 1. And then we're going to go this way. So 2u squared and 2u is going to be 2u. And negative u and 1 is going to be 1. Now anytime we have a negative in both boxes diagonally, those are going to be both be minuses. So we're going to get 2u minus 1 from here, and we're going to get u minus 1 there. Now I like to do it a little bit differently, and maybe some of you guys might too. So rather than do that, I'm just multiplying these first two numbers here, and I'm looking at 2u squared. So what multiplies to get 2u squared and then adds to get negative 3u? Well, the only way we're going to do that is if we take our 2u negative times negative u, right? Because if we add those up, we get negative 3u. And then it's just trying to figure out how to arrange them. So I know that I'm going to get my negative 1u from the inside, negative 1 times u. And then from the outside, negative 1 times 2u, which is a factor of this. We're going to get our negative 2u. So same idea. The whole idea, though, is that we're trying to factor to get back to this, to get to this point right here. Now, if you guys need some review on factoring, please go check out Khan Academy. Also, if you need extra practice, you can come into class. We can practice factoring as well. But I'm not going to go over it in depth because it's something that you guys covered in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. So if you do need a refresher, please come into class. We can work it. We can work them out and then get you back on track. So anyways, we're at this point right here. What we're going to do is we're going to replace our u's with sine theta. So we have 2 sine theta minus 1, sine theta minus 1. Those are both equal to 0. Now, another review thing from Algebra 1 and 2 is when we do our quadratics, we're using the zero product property. And what that means is that because we're multiplying two things, and they're equal to 0, right? The only way we can multiply two things and they become 0 is if at least one of those things is equal to 0. So what we're saying is that either the first thing that we're multiplying, 2 sine theta minus 1, has got to be 0, or sine theta minus 1 has got to be 0, if not both. Right? So all we have to do is say, okay, so 2 sine theta minus 1 equals 0, or sine theta minus 1 equals 0. Now we're going to solve each of these things, right? We'll solve them side by side because this is not that hard, right? So we're going to add 1. So sine theta equals 1. On this side, we got a little bit more work to do. So 2 sine theta equals 1 divided by 2. And then we sine inverse, right? So I left some room here. Okay, so we're trying to find, all right, for theta, where is sine inverse 1/2? So on the unit circle, because 1/2 is one of the signs from the unit circle, where is our theta? What is our theta going to be where our sine is going to be 1/2? So that's going to be at pi over 6. It's also going to be 5 pi over 6. Right? Those are the two positive signs where we get 1/2. And then the last one, sine inverse of 1. So the angle where sine is equal to 1 is going to be at pi over 2. Okay, so we have 3 here. Now the reason why we said that we should expect to have 2 solutions per sine inverse or cosine inverse or tangent inverse, etc. The reason why this one is not 2 solutions, right, is because it's on the y-axis. Pi over 2 is the y-axis on the positive side. Right, so there are exceptions to the rule, but we should expect to find 2 solutions each, except for when we are on one of the axes. Okay, that's it. It's a little bit quick. I know the second part was a little bit complex, so if you need to rewind it, pause it, take some notes, write any questions that you have on your sheet of paper, so we can go over them on next class. And again, remember, if you need any help with the factoring stuff, because I know it's something that you guys might not have touched for a while, or it's something that you didn't quite get the first time around, factoring is very important. It's not going to go away if you're going to continue on with math. So it's one of the things that you need to be able to do fairly proficiently. So if you need the help, please, again, you can come in, we can talk about it, I can help you out. Also, another solution if you want to do it on your own is check out factoring in Khan Academy. That should help you out as well. All right, good job.